Hi everyone, it's Sarah Leonard here from A Cat Like Curiosity. I just wanted to share with you a second video all about my sketchbooks and portfolios. As I mentioned in the last video, I don't tend to use sketchbooks in the traditional sense because I'm left-handed and I find the binding on the left-hand side tends to get in the way. So what I tend to do is work on separate sheets, and then I put them together into little folders or portfolios like this one. So this one today is my mixed media portfolio that I'm going to share, and I've kind of put it together in different sections. So the first section are my girls and goddesses. So let's have a little look in and see what we can find. So this is one of my more recent girls. So she's an angel style of a girl, and she's very, very sparkly. I don't know how well you can see if I take her out of her little plastic casing. But if I put her up near to the camera, perhaps you can see the level of sparkle that she has on her wings. And also in the background, there's a lot of iridescent silver being used in the background for this one, which gives it a really nice shimmer and shine. So she's a very thoughtful angel, but in more sort of muted tones. I find with this type of thing, I kind of go between the two. I go in between the very bright and colourful and cheerful and the very muted and pared down, I suppose. Here's another of the angels I created recently, and she's very purple and very lively, with little music notes in her hair as well. And this lady, again, I kind of went a little bit overboard with my new golden fluid acrylics, but I also added quite a lot of sparkle to her hair using my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen to do that. And I do really like the final result. It kind of shimmers and shines. I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but it does shimmer and shine quite nicely. Anyway, let's keep looking through. So some of these pieces you'll find are available in my shop. Some of them are ones that I either haven't made available yet or just have chosen not to make available. So she's a loving Christmassy style angel with lots of gold on her dress. This picture I actually created as part of our January Creative Challenge for people who are in my Curiously Gorgeous Sisterhood, using lots of lovely gilding flakes on the dresses for the girls, just to give them that extra little bit of shimmer. This was my response to a life book lesson last year. Very simplistic and childlike and playful, I suppose. And yeah, as we go through, there's just quite a lot. I do really enjoy representing goddesses and just either thoughtful looking or strong looking women. That seems to be something that I really enjoy focusing on in my work, in my art, in lots of different styles. This one I used for a time. I kind of cropped it down after I'd scanned it and used it as a bit of a sort of blog banner. It's quite cute. This is one of the oracle cards I made using Lynn Thurman's oracle card creating course. I am hoping to get my whole set of oracle cards ready at some stage. It's one of those little projects I have on the back burner that hasn't quite come to fruition yet. And lots of other shimmery, sparkly, thoughtful looking girls and goddesses in here. I just really enjoy exploring the different techniques with collage, with paints, with sparkle mediums, so you get that kind of shimmer on the on the corners of the page. I really enjoy this style of working, this kind of whimsical style. I think have enough girls and goddesses to make an oracle deck out of them. There are so very many of them in my sketchbook here that I'd be silly not to, I think. These are just some sketches from my sketchbook and preparatory sketches for different things. That was an idea for a blog banner, I think. And yeah, I like to experiment with different sort of styles. So in some of the pictures my girls will have full features, in others there'll be more kind of Waldorf style with just the blank facial features in there. And this lady's probably quite familiar if you know my blog. I've used her image quite a lot. This lavender-haired girl. I do like to explore different sort of designs and different styles, and going for a more stylized look rather than a realistic look sometimes, and kind of bouncing backwards and forwards between the two sort of ideas. The thing I like the most about this one, if I can hold it up to the camera, are the words that are in her hair. I don't know if you can read those, but it does say all this possibility. And that's kind of how I feel in general about art making. There's so much possibility, there's so much available to us, there's so many avenues and so many ways we can go with our own creativity, that I think it's just a wonderful thing to be involved in. And these are kind of newer ideas. I've been doing some lessons with Flora Bowley and trying to work in a more abstract style, so just sort of exploring different techniques in mark making rather than having a fixed idea of what the piece might look like when it's finished. So I've been working on these in sets, really, in sets of about 4 at a time, so I can just move between them and let paint dry in between. I kind of see this one as a sort of wise woman, a sage elder in the community. That's the kind of vibe that I get from this one. This one isn't really completed yet, actually. I've kind of put it away in the portfolio so it doesn't gather dust, but you can see just how these kind of paintings start, just with layers and layers and layers of different ideas. So there's a bit of stenciling here, lots of different mark making with fingers and with paint brushes and all kinds of different things. But this one I don't feel like it's finished, but I'm not sure necessarily what the next step might be for it. So watch this space for that one. This one here kind of makes me think of a sort of enchanted forest sort of idea. It has that kind of feel to it for me. But again, very abstract, lots of just mark making and exploring different colours and textures and layering without a fixed idea. This one's turned out a little bit less abstract in that I've gone with the sort of feather design, but still I was exploring lots of different ways of getting paint onto the canvas. So using a palette knife, for example, using my fingers a lot, using I think these were Q-tips, using those to get the paint on the canvas. And there's lots and lots of layers going on in this one too. When I look at this one, I kind of see kind of bird-like images here, but not fully realised, just impressions of bird-like images, and a kind of doorway that sort of leads off into the distance. And there's lots of little design elements, like, I don't know how well you'll see this, but I've kind of etched into the surface of the paint here with the edge of my paintbrush, and that kind of leaf pattern. So there's a lot going on the page. This one turned out much less abstract, although it had an abstract beginning with lots and lots of layers of paint. But I'm quite happy with the kind of meditative girl that I've ended up with for this one. And this one is, I guess, all about love. You can see the word love kind of half hidden in the layers there. And I've experimented with dripping, with using little pieces of card, with etching with the end of my paintbrush, and all kinds of different ways of making marks with that one. But that's kind of a new style for me. The kind of abstract sort of idea is not something that I'm very familiar with, but it's something that I'm sort of trying on for size to see whether I like it, see whether it fits for me. The last little section of my mixed media journal is just cats, obviously. So again, this kitty is one of the tutorials that I share on my Mixed Media Moggies course that will be coming out soon. Lots of different techniques in here, using spraying and stamps and collaging and all kinds of different things. I kind of went for a sort of harlequin sort of style to the kitty here. This is one of my sparkle cats from the Mixed Media Moggies course, looking a bit sort of dreamy and happy. Lots of gilding flakes used to make the cat sparkle and shine. And there. And then some more simple Mixed Media Moggies on the next page. So quite simple, minimal resources. It wouldn't need to have a whole art supply for these ones. Just simple watercolours and collage materials would be enough. This rainbow kitty is one of the ones I've used for birthday card designs. You can see that in my shop. I've got different phrases, and this was put together using watercolour pencils, I believe, at the time. And I also have my pinky purpley rainbow kitty as well. And again, both available as card designs. And just lots more little cats that I've worked on over the years, and women who love cats, of course. This lady with all of the cats in her hair. And then every good portfolio, I think, has to have a miscellaneous section, bits and pieces that you're not sure quite where else they might go. So this was a life book lesson as well, creating a dream catcher. And this one was a creative challenge I did for my Curious and Gorgeous Sisters for December, and it was celebrating the winter solstice and the return of the sun. That was for December last year. This one was one I did as part of a local in-person art workshop. And as were these, so creating some sort of mixed media background with mantras on. These are some of my visioning pictures and paintings. So when I'm trying to sort of set my intentions, something I often do is create a piece of art to go with those intentions, and these are examples of those. So they're quite free, they're not particularly thought out or planned, but they are sort of heartfelt and mindful, and something that I've used just to help keep my goals and everything else on track. And that is pretty much everything. So I invite you also to love life and to have a go at some mixed media art in your own studios. If you haven't already had a go, then I definitely recommend it. And I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of my mixed media portfolio. Thanks so much.